Hello, beautiful people. My name is Elsa. Welcome back to my channel, Elsa Loves. Today I have the beautiful Pandagasms. Hey!
Whew. In the last year, I've learned to just remove my ego out of relationships.
Which children relationships?
Yes, that is still a relationship. Being a
Yep.
parent is still a relationship. So I've learned to remove my ego, because a lot of times we as people, we want more or we want better for someone, and they may not see that vision, or maybe they do and they haven't gotten to a space of receiving that type of information yet.
Right, that part.
So when you learn that the ego is I, and it's like, I want better for this person,
Yeah.
so I remove my ego now. I definitely want
That's
better
a
for
big
you.
fucking
It
deal.
is a step, because I've also learned during this journey that sometimes giving more love is removing it.
Oh Lord, we just getting right into
Giving
that.
more love is sometimes removing it. And I say that because I was reading this book, and it was like, when someone becomes hard to love, you love them more. And I do this gratitude list, and my cousin was like, let's pick at that. She was like, what does that look like for you? And she was like, I told her what that meant to me. And because I'm just a genuine person that likes to love on people, I was like, I would give like more hugs, more love, or more gifts, whatever that person's love language is, I would give them more.
Right.
And she was like, but do you also know that sometimes loving means removing it?
Listen,
you have to love yourself enough to remove the love that you're giving that person, because if the love you're already giving them isn't enough for them, giving them more doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be better. So sometimes giving them more love is more love for yourself and removing what you're giving. Does that make sense? It sounds crazy out loud,
it
but
actually does, because when you're thinking about, if I think of the metaphor, the visual ones, where the person's holding that rope really, really tight, and it's like the harder he's pulling a rope that's trying to slip out of his hands, he's just getting burned. Or they,
and cut,
I don't know,
and everything.
Yep.
And
so bleeding. It's like you're trying to hold on. That's the visual I got.
Yeah.
Or like the sand, the harder you hold, the more slips out.
So you just gotta let go sometimes.
That's real. It is. Damn.
So
shouts out to 11:30 a.m. real
talk.
Yes. That's why I love that we did this video though, because you can get real, and I appreciate that.
I do get real. I do get deep. Sometimes people are like, that's too much, and I'm like, well, I'm a deep feeler, and a lot of times
you're a Pisces, correct?
I'm a Cancer.
Cancer, dude! I just did a Cancer. I just did a kiss or diss video, and I was like, Cancers are my top. They're my top 3.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they misunderstand the way we love, which is okay. I've accepted that. It doesn't faze me at all.
Yeah, no.
Whenever I get around people that understand the way I love and they're ready to receive it and accept it, I'm just like, those are my people, and that's it. Like, once you get to learn people and try to see if this is genuine, like, what's their intention? Is this person doing this because they want to do it, or are they doing it because they feel they should be doing it?
Right.
Or this is what they were taught to do. Like, a lot of things, I'm doing it because I want to do it. There's not much you could get me to do if I don't want to.
Got you.
Not much.
No, same.
And I love the word no. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
I think that's something that's been frowned upon for so long. I was just reflecting on this yesterday. Like, last night, I was up until like 4 a.m, legit talking about just like everything that has to do with emotional intelligence. And that's a big umbrella.
It is.
And so you can go for hours. And I was talking about, like, I love myself.
A lot.
And yes.
I do.
I so love
much. Myself.
Like, to the point where I'm not even joking, when there's times where I've gotten injured or I felt sad and I kiss my shoulders.
You're like, oh, baby, you're okay.
Yeah, like, I'm kissing myself. I'm like,
baby, you're okay.
You're
gonna be all right.
And it's so funny because I did this years ago, before I even knew about manifesting or anything like that. This was like back when I was like 18. I'm 35 now, but
I'm 41, going on 42. So, quick question though: do you feel? I don't know how you grew up, but did you not get enough affection growing up? Did people not kiss your boo boos?
No,
that's why. So you had to kiss your own boo boos.
The thing is too that my mom, Puerto Rican woman, held down the house. The disciplinarian, the mom, so she was like tough love kind of person. I knew she loved me 100%, but she was more so like,
you get up and figure it out.
Like, come on, you want to be in the kitchen while I'm in here and get out? Like, no, that type of energy. So, which is love. It's just their love.
It's
Caribbean,
the way that they express it. Yeah,
right.
Definitely. So my mom is from Honduras, so I got the same tough love. And she even tries to teach me about it now. So I hate tough love with a passion.
That's dope. Your mom, so you are close with your mom, and that, like, y'all talk a lot about nuanced stuff too.
We do and don't, because I try to explain to her about emotional awareness and how those types of things make me feel, forget other people, how they make them feel. And because she doesn't understand that, she'll be like, okay, yeah, you're right. But now you're dismissing me. You just want me to be quiet. You really don't understand it. You just don't want to have this conversation because you're an avoidant.
Yep. Oh.
And because I know she is an avoidant, an anxious avoidant at that, because that's an attachment style. A lot of people aren't aware about attachment styles.
Yep.
And because she's an anxious avoidant, she doesn't know how to have those conversations about feelings and emotions and things like that, because they weren't allowed to acknowledge those things.
Absolutely not.
So whenever
it was like, do it because I said
do what I said, and that's it.
Or you get the behind whoop.
Yeah, you weren't questioned. They didn't question it. Nothing. No matter how they felt about it, they kept those feelings within
Everything's
themselves.
Neat and tidy,
and that's it. I was never that child. So now that I'm older and I understand what that means, and then, I have the language via therapy to express those feelings, to get across to her, even if she's not ready to receive it, I know she sits with it.
Yeah.
I know she sits with it. Hears you. She sits with it, and then I see the change behavior, and to me, that's enough.
So that's way more important.
It's way more important to me.
I tell my kids, I'm a teacher. I tell my kids, don't say sorry, do better. Don't say sorry.
Don't be sorry, just be better.
And I tell them that every day. And then to the point where now we're in January, right? We started the year August or start of September. Now they're like, I'm sorry. No, I'll do better, Mr. Rivera.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's right. You gonna fucking do better.
You are gonna do better, because I know you can do better.
And some people think like that's too harsh, but I'm like, no, it's like you have to understand that your words are only as powerful as your actions. They go hand in hand.
Your words can bless or curse. That's why you have to be careful what you say and how you say it.
I was just talking to some Mexican woman down the street, and she's like the grandma of the block, right? And she's like talking to me about the nunal, the birthmark. Mm-hmm. And she was like, oh, you have powerful words. And I was learning about that. In Mexican culture, they believe that if you have a birthmark by your mouth, that means your words are so strong and like can be used for good or bad. So being mindful of like your tongue.
So I was raised with that perspective. My mom is a minister. So I got a lot of like things to unfold. Yep. A Caribbean mother that is a minister, so she does her biblical version. So I'm not religious, but I'm spiritual. And a lot of people don't understand the differences, and that's fine. Go do your research. Just Google is free.
Right.
So she'll tell me all these things. And yes, I agree with her. We just express it differently with our actions. Mm-hmm. So I do believe so for her, it's more of, God is listening and he's going to give you what you ask for. So for more, it's like the universe, you're manifesting what you want in your life.
Right.
So this is why I tell people, positive self-talk is important. So when you're going through something, you're not going to say I'm broke. In this moment, I am not financially where I'd like to be. Wordplay is huge.
Well, I'm not there yet.
Yes, I'm not there yet.
But I will get there.
In this moment, I don't have the financial means. However, I'm working. You got to be specific on what you say about yourself and what you say about others, because I don't know if in the Caribbean it's called having a goat mouth. What you say usually happens. So, you got to be careful. You'll sit down and you'll be like, oh, I hope this person falls and hurt themselves. In like 2 weeks, that person going to fall and hurt themselves.
Yes.
You wish that on them. You jinxed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you do have to be careful on what you say, because you can
I will say that's something
curse.
About the Caribbean that I've noticed, like just across the Caribbean, that superstitions, what we called superstitions at the time, are like heavy.
Yeah.
Superstition, like the power of your tongue. And I think we disconnected from that for so long that now that we're reconnecting, I would say as like a unit, or a lot more people reconnecting to it, it's a powerful thing, because you got to understand, like, we can't be on autopilot just walking.
Nope, you can't be. You
and
have
moving.
to.
You have to understand that your words mean something. Your being means something in this space, and like, what is it for? That's for you to figure out.
Yep, you have to figure out your purpose and use your words accordingly. Even though in religion and spirituality are basically the same thing. It's just, again, the language.
Right.
It's basically the language. They pray, we manifest. And sometimes we still do pray to a higher being. So there's all of that connects. So you have to be careful on what you say, no matter what. Even when you pray, you have to pray that whatever you're praying for, you have the skills and discernment to keep what you're praying for. Because you might get it, but now you got it. What you gonna do with it?
The clarity. You need that clarity.
So you have to be very specific on what you're saying. You have to be careful. The power of the tongue is for everybody. And when you know that, you do better. When you know better, you do better, right?
Yeah.
So everybody who's about to watch this, now that you know that the way you speak has power in it,
Absolutely.
you have to do better now. Because what's worse, knowing and not doing, or not knowing and still not doing it?
Ooh.
I think people that know and don't do are way worse than the people that don't know, so they're not doing it.
Right.
But now
you can't even blame ignorance
you can't
at that point.
You can't, because now you know.
Yep.
You're fully aware of the mindfulness of how to speak. You're fully aware on learning attachment styles. You're fully aware of learning all those things. You know that they're out there. Now, what are you going to do with it?
Yeah.
Now that you know that these things exist, what are you going to do? Are you going to do your due diligence and research it and see how it applies to you? So now you can evolve into a better version of yourself. Are you going to teach people about it? Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
That's the route I'm down. Teaching people.
Yes.
Because I feel like I've always had this energy about me where I feel like I can move in most spaces and feel loved. And I feel so blessed to have that. I don't take that for granted. And so like I realized, and it's been a lot. This has been over like the course of like 7-ish years that I've been digging into this. But
me too. Go ahead.
Really?
Yes, it's been about 7-ish years.
Yo, I love
ahead.
That. So I've been thinking about it. I'm like,
My
at first
taught me this.
Oh, clock that. As a middle school teacher, we'd be
talking. I have teenagers, so I know the lingo. Go ahead.
What's up. No, I was just saying that like being able to go into a space at first, you're like, whoa, why do I feel all of the energy? And that took a while for me, because I'm like, I can't even go to a party or like more than 3 people without feeling like exhausted afterward. And I'm like, okay, so then I learned about taking energy and leaving energy, and taking what fuels me, leaving what doesn't. So I learned about that. So then I started stepping out more, and then I'm like, okay, the energy that I have, I want to use this because it's clear that I have something really special about myself, right? And I don't mean that in like cocky way or anything. Like I genuinely
just self-awareness,
right? Like I genuinely
which is
mean
a skill.
And
go ahead,
that part, but it's just like being able to take in what I learn and use my platform for like inviting more conversation. Like, hey, if I talked about you said avoidant, someone's avoidant, anxiously avoidant, being able to be like, hey, look up that word. And because of my platform or my influence or like how we connect, if you say something to me, I'm gonna take a moment and beat. I'm gonna take a beat and think about it. Like, okay, she brought it up. Let me look into it. If I don't know, if I say something, I'm assuming you would do the same thing.
Absolutely. I'm taking mental notes now. Like, we're talk about this later.
We converse about it,
Yes. As you should. Each one teach one. Right. I think it's the educator in us.
Is it? Is that what it is?
Might be.
It's the water sign in us.
What are you?
What do you think?
Well, if you said water sign and you're not a Cancer, because I would have remembered that. You're either a Scorpio or a Pisces, and you give me more Pisces energy than Scorpio.
Scorpio.
Really?
Yeah.
So you're gutter.
I don't know. Everyone says that.
Scorpios are the gutter of the water sign. Like,
in what way?
Emotionally, how they respond to people. Depends on you if you've evolved or not. Where you're now like, I could do that, but that's not who I am now.
Correct. Yeah.
You haven't evolved Scorpio. That's why.
I also had a mom. I had a mom who did not play that.
Yeah.
So I also like my mom was so real with me when it came to like sex. Anything I wanted to talk about, she was like telling me like, you can do X, Y, and Z, but there are potential consequences.
And what was her sign?
Sag.
They're pretty blunt too. They're fire sign.
The fire sign.
They're blunt. They don't bite their tongue. They're gonna tell you.
No, yeah. She was straight up. She was straight.
Yeah.
And
because as water signs, we're receiving of those types of things. Even though we may not want to hear it, we sit with it, we think about it, and we'll be like, all right. And that's why you feel everything when you walk into a room.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I definitely had to get out of that phase.
So can we step back onto what you were saying about when you hang out with sometimes certain areas and places you feel drained? So now that you know these things, those places that are draining you and those people that are draining you, those aren't your people and those aren't your places.
Right.
So now that you're learning that, you have to figure out those people and places that are fulfilling, so you're not feeling drained. And if you do ever come across those spaces that do drain you, you have to know how to maneuver yourself, move around in a way that you won't allow it to drain you. Because again, now you know those places drain you.
Yep.
So God forbid you have to go to that place, or you have to go deal with this person.
Right.
got to find a way to practice how you would handle them, even if it's like, don't.
Yeah, and
don't,
that's where I am right now.
because that's an option. Don't. I
Yep.
don't have to go here. I don't have to talk to you. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Or you can be like, now that I know I have to deal with this, I could either work out or drink, whatever it is you have to do in order to get through dealing with that person or those places. But don't is always mine.
Yeah.
When it's out,
I
don't.
think right now it definitely is. So there are a couple spaces where I'm like, I know those are my planned spaces. If I know it's going to emotionally drain me, I'm like, okay, I am aware that I need more mental energy for this space. So I plan for that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I typically end leaving. And I literally say it at wherever I'm leaving, like whatever energy is not meant for him, I'm keeping it here. And I've said that. And I'm saying that this was like a year. That's like very new for me. 2, or I say no. I'm good at saying no.
I'm so
good at saying no. And, and it does upset people.
It does, but they'll be all right.
It does upset people. And so
it does.
That was one thing that I'm just like.
They be jaw drop like,
right.
Huh?
Right.
What do you mean? Like, I don't want to do that. That does not sound fulfilling. It doesn't sound fun. It doesn't align with my purpose as a person going through this human experience. It doesn't align.
And then I'm going to sit there and you're going to see like my vibe is off. Like, I'm not going to enjoy myself as I would in a more comfortable setting. And that's the part where I'm like, I won't sacrifice myself here. Or do I want to be there and then I kind of vibe?
I don't let other people's energy drain mine anymore. I've reached that level of something. So once I see like I've said no and you start to feel away, I exit stage left. Mm-hmm. There's no need for this conversation to continue. We've already said our pieces. You heard me, I heard you. Let's not interrupt this beautiful moment that we're going to enjoy because life is meant to be enjoyed. I'm out.
Right.
You can argue with yourself. You can go back and forth with yourself because what I don't do ever is go back and forth with people. I don't care who you are. I don't go back and forth with my mom. I don't go back and forth with my kids. I don't go back and forth with my partner. You got 2, and that conversation's over with me. I might even sit there and let you talk, and I'm looking at you with a deer in the headlight look, but mentally I'm checked out. Right. So all I'm hearing now is, yeah, because I'm not gonna let you interrupt.
Yeah, like and I think that
in peace that I have,
I feel that, and it's like, I think people need to also be more aware of when to go back and forth. Because and
okay, actually, I'm gonna hear you out. Go ahead.
I'm not gonna say the back and forth. More of like something triggered, right? Because that's why they want to go back and forth. But instead, how to communicate that into the person that, in a way that the person's gonna receive it, and like timing, right?
This is true. However, this is why they get 2.
Okay.
You got 2 ends to get your facts and points out. But if it's turning into a hamster wheel, where you're just now saying the same thing in a different way, I'm definitely tapping out because you're trying to play with my intelligence. Right. You think that I'm dumb enough to sit here and hear you say something in a different way that I'm now going to agree with you. You're trying to change my thought process. Yeah. And now because you are trying to insult my intelligence, I definitely can't stick around for this conversation because what? Oh, you think stupid is on my forehead in bright flashing lights. Okay. Now manipulation is coming into the conversation. I don't like that. Yep. I'm very emotionally aware when you're trying to now manipulate my thought process. Because what?
I get that. Because I also feel like I've been on the other side of that. I've been the one to like drag it out.
You probably have. We've all been there. I'm not saying I'm like, a saint.
And
I probably still do it now. So you can hear me out.
But it is true where like that's where the emotional intelligence comes into.
Yeah, because I'm stopping.
If I love you and let's say we're dating and I want you to hear me, I'm not going to come at you X way because you're not going to receive it. So it's also my job to be able to communicate in a way that you will receive it because I've learned you at this point. Yeah, I've taken time to like, or I get feedback like, hey, can I talk to you right now about X, Y, and Z?
But that's a conversation. I don't mind conversations of understanding. So I don't do debates. I don't do arguments.
Got you.
If you need a conversation for understanding and we can stay like this and your voice isn't getting here, once you start to elevate that voice level, I'm going to remind you, your voice is
my biggest trigger.
Do not raise
my
your voice
biggest
at
trigger.
Me.
The biggest trigger is yelling.
Once you raise your voice at me, our conversation is over.
I gotta bring something up about that.
Because who are you talking to?
Right.
Don't curse at me. Don't raise your voice at me. I am a human and I respect you as a human being. You're going to respect me as a human being as well. I came into this conversation with respect, and we're going to leave this conversation with respect.
Or I'm
Because
gonna leave
once
the
I
combo.
start yelling at you, I'm no longer respecting you. You are now another homie on the street, and we could go.
Right.
And once I start
It's
to
fair
look
game.
at you in that light, it doesn't matter if it's a romantic relationship or it's a platonic relationship. Once I've lost respect for you as an individual, whatever relationship we had is over.
Right. Right.
It's over. So we can have a healthy conversation because it's respectful.
Mm-hmm.
But once you raise your voice at me or start calling me out my name, this conversation's over.
You know what lights me up about that? There's a new buzzword that came around, and it makes me mad. I don't like this buzzword, but the tone policing.
What?
Have you heard of it?
What is it?
Tone policing.
No.
So tone policing is when you're telling someone like, "Oh, lower your voice," or lower, like,
Listen.
and it makes me so mad because I feel like the most toxic people elevate their voice. Be like, "Don't tone police me," and I'm like, "Oh, no, we can't do this. We can't do this." And it's different if like I'm in a work setting and I'm speaking my loud self to my kids, and then somebody walks by like, "Oh, turn it down."
Right.
That's different because now you're like, I'm not even upset. You're just like telling me to be quiet because you don't like the volume of my voice at that moment. I'm not upset, but what
I've
you think
never
about
heard
that?
of tone policing.
You know,
I've never heard of it. So I guess because everything in life is situational, it's case by case. I think it would matter. Like what you just expressed. Like maybe you're in the classroom and the class is a little too loud, and somebody walks by and they're like, tone it down. You know, whatever. That's respectful. But don't tone police me. And if they're raising their voice and I'm telling you to bring your voice down because you're now disrespecting me, what?
right?
That's not tone policing. That's bringing you awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So that person has no awareness, and they're feeling that the way that they're responding to you is
Okay.
justified and it's okay. And now again, they're trying to manipulate you with tell you your tone, whatever. Them like what? Okay, you're trying manipulation again.
Yep.
No, you're yelling and you're hollering and you're screaming and you're not having a respectful conversation. That's what that is. And because I've now called you out on your behavior, you want to dismiss the fact that you're acting like a child having a temper tantrum. And because you don't want to face that, you're telling me I'm tone policing you? No, you're having a tantrum.
Yep.
Calm down.
Right.
So in that situation, if you tell, it's back to the manipulation.
Yeah.
People are crazy.
Because you can use your volume to, so I'm short. Shout out to the short king.
Hey, I'm 5'3", baby. Right. We fun size.
And I'm cool with it.
Me too.
I do think like there's a way where you have to command a space and like use your voice, use your body to move differently to command a space. That's different. However, I do think that unfortunately shorter people, specifically shorter men, have the rep of like getting louder, trying to use their voice to shut someone else down.
Short and complex.
Right. And it's like, yes, short.
But
sounds like,
unfortunately, society has made it that way for them. Unfortunately, if you think about it.
In what way?
Look how they come at shorter men. I feel like
fair.
So I've always told women like, y'all gonna miss out on your Prince Charming because he's short.
Yeah. Like,
don't put people in that box.
In anyone, because I feel like tall women don't like to be called tall.
Right. Like, don't put people in that box. Everybody feels or responds to things differently. That short person might treat you like royalty, and the tall person that you're attracted to isn't going to.
So you're saying like they feel automatically dismissed because they're X height.
Yeah. Okay. And I've learned through this journey that sometimes you have to step outside the box to get what you want. Sometimes what you are attracted to is not what's good for you. Just because you're attracted to it doesn't mean it's good for you. I like ginger ale. There's mad sugar in that. That's not good for you. You know what I mean? What is it saying? Everything that glitters ain't gold. Yeah. Just because he's tall, 6'10", he got a beard and a mustache. Yo, he might be mean. You talk about mean girls. There are mean men out there, and a lot of people that know that they are that handsome, that beautiful, they have the nastiest attitudes. Yeah. And I hear that from men and women alike. Yep. And I've seen it with my own eyes. I've definitely seen very beautiful, gorgeous women be disrespectful. Yep. They're nasty, they have nasty attitudes. And I've seen men that knew they were attractive and they use that. What is that? Pretty privilege.
Yep.
They use that. They definitely know they are gorgeous, beautiful, handsome, whatever those, keep going. And they are the nastiest, meanest people. But some people like that. Yeah. Some people like to chase, like, she really likes me.
Put me in my place.
Yes, like she doesn't like you. She shut you down.
She shut it down.
Stop.
Talk about it. I want to pick your brain.
Pick.
Did you manifest anything for the year?
let's see. I have my goals for this year and for life is to continue surrounding myself with fulfilling individuals, continue to find fulfilling experiences while I'm experiencing this human experience. Because this is all an experience. Life is going to win no matter what.
Yep.
I love life. I love everything about life. So
Amen to that.
my thing is to just keep life as happy for myself as possible, whatever that looks like. As long as I'm not violently hurting myself. Like if I'm jumping up and down on a trampoline, let me.
Right.
Did anybody die from me jumping on a trampoline?
Let me feed
why can't
my
I
inner
jump
child.
on a trampoline? Yes, why can't I jump on a trampoline? That's why so many people are miserable. They don't know how to have fun. They don't know how to do fun things. And just let me be. So that's it. I just want to continue living a purposeful, fulfilling life, whatever that looks like. And if it involves removing people from my life or removing myself from people's lives, I'm doing it with the utmost respect and love for them, for us. So this way, because at the beginning of the day, I'm still human. I don't want to hate nobody.
Absolutely.
I don't. I'm a humanist as well as, I love people. I genuinely love being around people.
Yeah,
but,
you're legit a humanitarian.
I love it. I love being outside. Even if I'm not talking to anyone, even when I was a bartender, I just love being in a social setting. I don't need to talk to anybody. I could just sit in the corner by myself and people watch and I'm good. I love social settings. And if someone wants to join in on the fun that I'm having, come on in. I don't mind, but don't come with the foolishness.
Right.
Yep. No. We don't do the foolishness over here. But if you're coming to join in and bring more happiness and more fun, bring it.
Do it.
Bring it. I'm always open to inviting people who have something to lose.
Ooh.
You got to have something to lose.
Ooh.
Those people know how to act.
Right.
If you have nothing to lose, you don't care about your behavior. I have children. I have businesses. I got stuff to lose at the beginning and the end of the day. So I conduct myself in a manner that shows I got things to lose.
And I believe in
So I'm not out here doing any and anything. I'm very intentional with everything that I do. I'm intentional about the people I hang with. I'm intentional about the places I go, how I'm going to conduct myself in those spaces. I'm very intentional.
So intentions.
Yeah, I'm very intentional with everything. I sit and think things through now. Before, I used to be on a whim like, this is great, let me go. Not no more.
Yeah.
I'm only wild and crazy when I get to those places I know I can be that.
Where you can feel safe.
Where I can be that. I know where I can be 100% me, and I know where spaces that I have to water myself down, and I do my best to not have to go there.
Water myself down as a water sign. Yeah.
Listen, and having to water down as water, like make that make sense.
Listen.
Make that make sense. How do you water down water? Like, no, I'm coming in like a wrecking ball, like a big wave, baby. And I need you to take all this the same way you in the ocean and those waves crash and you stand there and you jump with it. I need you to stand there and jump with me.
Be the breaker.
You know what I'm saying? Like, don't run back up the beach. You asked for this. You came to the beach for the waves and you understand. Like, make it make sense. I'm not watering down a goddamn thing. So if I have to water down myself, I'm not going. I'm not going.
That's powerful. And I don't think that most people can say that confidently.
And
I think some people could try and say that and not even agree with it all the way. Like, believe in it, rather. But, like, I believe you.
And I tell people every time, you asked me to come here, you knew what I came with. If you didn't want this, you shouldn't have invited me. I'm okay with not being invited somewhere. You know how much it costs to go outside?
Listen.
It costs $100 to leave your house. You need food, gas. So I'm okay with not being invited. Like, I turn up in my house alone every day. You don't got to invite me.
Especially in the winter up here up north.
I don't like the cold. You know I love you because it's snowing and I drove to you. I was on the road like this. My eyes ain't like before. Nobody better call me. Nobody better call me. I gotta focus.
10 and 2.
Listen, this is my boo. I gotta make it out here.
Oh man, I appreciate it.
My daughter called talking about some. Can you send me the text of the code? Girl, I'm on the highway. No. I thought you called with something important. Like what?
Ooh, that's hilarious.
Hilarious. I'm on the highway. It's snowing. I got to get to this place
and we didn't even know about the snow.
My car has snow on it.
I looked. I was like, let me text her in case she just found out like me.
Thoughtful. I love considerate people.
I be trying.
I love considerate people. I love people that can think about you and not just themselves. Like And
It's
I don't
love.
know. It is.
It's
It
love.
is love.
That's how I could definitely out. That's one
I
of the
told
ways
my
I
best
show
friend,
love.
I was like, I understand why women are attracted to her, because no man would have been like, hey, it's snowing. Bring a snow brush with you. Yo, we went in on this conversation. She was like, you're right. I was like, because I'll go see a dude, or back in the day, and sometimes people are like, all right, I'm cleaning up, so can you bring food? No.
No.
I'm coming to you in the snow. You better Uber Eats me something to eat, or I'm turning around and I'm going back home. What?
Oh, that is hilarious.
Consideration is like top notch for me. Being considered, being thought of, somebody taking that extra step for you to be like, hey, be careful. This is what's going on.
Right. And it takes 30 seconds.
30 seconds, even less.
30 seconds to show love.
Even
and like that shows less. That you cared, that you want them to be safe, that you don't want to inconvenience them. Like it just in my mind, it makes total sense.
Girl, you lucky. I like the. If I
did it, yo, shout out to the Straits. We love y'all. We love y'all.
Listen,
we love y'all.
I'm
no, it's all love. It's all love. You said something that made me think about. So I did a vision board for the first time last year. Okay. I didn't do one this year because I do feel like it was a visual reminder, but I found myself wanting to do something more intrinsically this year. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, okay, let me tap in to create that discipline, because that's part of it. One of my resolutions was discipline.
Yes, I needed more discipline because, girl.
Yeah, I need some discipline. I definitely. We can laugh all day, and I appreciate that about you. That's also one of my love languages. If you can make me laugh, like listen. Shout out to y'all gotta check her out. I'm gonna tag her. Watch. Freaking discipline was one of them, because sometimes I feel like, YOLO. It's been new starts, and so sometimes I'm just like, you know what, I might dabble, knowing damn well I probably shouldn't.
But did you die?
No, I'm
so good. You're good.
You're right. You're
good. It felt good in that moment, right?
Yes.
And nobody died.
You're right.
All right.
And I'm learning, because with every interaction comes a reaction or impact, and so we're just learning. So I want to be more disciplined, or self-disciplined. Yeah. I understand I can't control the world. Self-disciplined. I know, right? It's like sugar and spice and everything nice this world. Listen. And to live life like a child.
Yes.
That's definitely one of my big things, because I think oftentimes I'm called immature, and I don't mind at all. No. And I think sometimes people say that with a little bit of envy.
Right, thinking that's going to hurt my feelings, but it doesn't.
And I have I actually recently 2 coworkers have said that. And I'm like, sorry.
Like, I was like, okay, why? Because you don't know how to have fun. I'm immature. I'll take that.
And I think
that miserable ass.
Right. And that's the thing. I think once we leave that newness, the excitement for new, it's like then things get but you could take me literally down the walk, and I'm like, oh, it's snowing.
This is so fun.
It's snowing.
Yo,
I love the sound of the crunching.
Yes.
Like I'm such an auditory person, so when I'm going, I'm just like, okay, I love this. I love seeing it. It's and also I'm a quality time person, so you don't have to spend money on gifts for me. Right. But if we take a walk, that means the world. So it's and I'm down, but also I do get that from my dad. Shouts out my dad. We are definitely mending our relationship.
Good.
He's doing better now. And my dad would take us we were tight on money when we were younger, and it is what it is. However, my family didn't have a poor mentality. That's one thing, because our space was always clean. We had the village, right? But my dad would take us down the street and go into a cave. He'd be like, oh, we're going on an adventure, and scare us, tap on the walls, and have a flashlight. And I do think I got that from him. It's because that's how I am as a teacher. I'm we're going on a bear hunt.
Listen,
and
my kids
that's me.
Get scared from the bear hunt. They're afraid of it. Yeah, but it's my favorite song.
It really is a
I
good
need to work
song.
with older kids that can appreciate the bear hunt.
That is a 5-6. Are you at 5-6 or younger?
No, I'm months and 2-3.
Yeah, they're too young.
Yeah, they're too young to appreciate
the bear. And it's a lot of memorization. Be able to repeat, but you can start them off. It's a one line.
I do.
Yeah. Oh, shouts out the babies.
When they get older to 3, 4ish, they start to understand it more. Yeah. But then at the same time, now they're about to leave.
Yeah.
for pre-K. So it's kind
But
of
you
like
set them up for life.
I do set them up for life, and that's the bonus part.
Yeah, that is. Because I feel that same way. I'm like, I'm dealing with the middle school attitude.
Yeah, I don't want that.
School
I
energy
knew.
and like for me, I'm like, I might not see it now, but guess what? 5 years down, you're gonna remember that.
I was about
to
say
remember
that
when I told you.
The plus side for your age group, they remember. Mine don't.
Mhm.
Mine don't. They don't have that capacity for memory yet.
Fair.
They don't remember me. They don't
Fair.
remember
But
anything.
it's funny how it'll come back because I didn't.
That part, right? It does. It can come full circle. It can. It definitely can.
And you don't know. And that was like what? When I was like 11 now, so that was almost 8-9 years ago.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy actually to think.
It is. We've been through a lot of children's lives.
Yeah, in a very I think
way.
In a positive way.
Absolutely.
And like
because some of them we ended up still being friends and become family because 15 years you're my family now.
Yeah.
You stuck with me.
Oh, that's so cute. That is so cute,
you stuck
girl.
with me, baby.
Aw.
You're gonna have to be like, get off.
Nah, it's
always, I know where you live.
Love.
I'm like, you can't get rid of me now. I'll be outside like I got ice cream.
Yeah, I got that is a love language.
You told me you want to go for a walk with me. Let's go. And then you're gonna fold and we're gonna be friends again. It's like, what? I'm a Cancer. I'm manipulating your mindset. You're not breaking up with me. If I love you, you are stuck. Right. Like you're gonna have to do some hateful stuff for me to be like, I can't rock with us anymore.
Water signs right out.
Unfortunately. It's a blessing and a curse. We're loyal to a curse. It's a curse. It can be really bad for us because then we end up getting our own feelings hurt because we're so loyal and dedicated and committed and working our ego. I'm telling you, take that ego out. I promise you life will become more peaceful. Your feelings won't be hurt no more.
I'm working on my ego. I'm not gonna lie. My ego is probably
ego for you.
It's not for me right now. I'm gonna be real.
Bring it in.
For me right now.
It takes time.
I'm aware of it. I can be when I'm level-headed. I'm aware.
Yes.
When I'm in the moment, don't tell me nothing.
Don't
tell me nothing.
Give me a minute.
Give me a hot second.
It doesn't happen overnight. It takes a while, and of course, depending on the status of that relationship with you and that person, it's gonna take a little bit more cooling down time. So another thing that also helps me kind of keep a calm head is for every minute that you're upset, it takes 5 minutes to calm down. So the longer
that was on my vision board last
and
year.
it's a fact.
Time.
So
every minute you're upset,
it takes 5 minutes to calm down.
Okay, that just healed part of me from last year because on my vision board was bounce back time. I felt like my bounce back time used to feel like forever, but if you're in the moment and you're upset, that makes sense.
Yeah, because the longer you're mad, the longer you're gonna be upset. So there's that, and then I also learned how. I've also learned that how you go to sleep is how you wake up. I don't want to wake up upset. So I do my best not to go to sleep upset. Again, I'm human, so things do happen. However, if I can take that time to just woosah it out, whatever it is, that I can go to bed in a peaceful state of mind, so I could wake up in a peaceful state of mind because I'm an educator. I have these babies that I got to deal with. I don't want to project that energy onto them. You know,
and they're gonna be there whether you like it or not.
Whether or not I like it or not, no matter what type of day I had when I woke up, them babies is coming.
And they're here. Yeah.
And they don't deserve whatever I'm going through for them to get that.
I will say that's something I do miss with the younger ones. I miss the younger ones because I think as they get older, you start to see the disparities in communities, the politics and everything. And it's just like them pushing, and it's like you see how they're younger, how they're adulting from what they learned from comes out.
All of that.
It's hard. It's hard.
It's a lot.
It can, and I always tell middle school because middle school teaching is not for the weak. Let me tell you something.
Teaching is not for the weak because kids gonna be kids. They're challenging at every level. Because look at the grown-up kids, the adults.
That's true.
Every level is challenging.
Yeah, and you really gotta lead with like
compassion.
And
understanding.
And this is their first time doing puberty. This is their first time doing toddler.
This is first time.
Yeah, and it's like you really like once we get I think to 21, 25 around that age, you've pretty much are set in the personality that you are.
Yeah,
and then you can start tweaking. Yeah. That's when you start pushing and questioning yourself. Like, ooh, what do I want to do? What do I want to be in that sense? Or maybe happen sooner, but I'm saying for like average people, because you graduate out of high school at college out of 22-ish, if you go to college. So just being able to reflect is a big deal.
Huge.
Big
Huge.
deal.
I'm going to challenge that and say more like 25, 26, because that's when the human brain fully
Yep.
develops.
That's fair.
So that you can like really sit and think things through.
And that's the quarter life crisis.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Because developmentally, you start becoming your unhealed version of yourself at 7. That's when you have like understanding and stuff. It's a crazy thing.
That is crazy.
It is. You are. When you think about it, you are who you're going to be at the age of 7. And then from there, the world starts to teach you. That's why they say, like, for young boys, it's good at that time of a boy's age at 7 for their fathers to step in.
Mm-hmm.
Because at that point, he needs to learn how to be a man.
Yeah.
Okay. You know? And that is going to be a conversation that I'm going to have on my podcast. So, you know, it's an unpopular opinion. However, I know I'm going to get a lot of kickback from that, from mothers and fathers.
And I think also like adults know their children and what their children need. Like, you've been with your kids, you know what your kids need. Like, those are your babies. Mm-hmm. You know, and I get it, because I think if you have 2 moms, like, where does the dad come into play? So I get the pushback, but also I'm not talking about my kids. You're talking about your kids, and that's okay.
That is okay.
That's like what people need to understand. Like, chill out. We're not saying do this for everyone.
Exactly. Or even like just having studies show that this is the majority. There's always going to be an exception to a rule. Right. Always. Nothing is etched in stone.
So don't take it personal.
Some things people don't have to take personal.
No, not at all. So, and that's something I'm trying to do too, not to take personal.
Me too. Again, taking the ego out. Yeah. Removing the ego. Because once you sit down, again, situations, different ways to, handle them. Once you sit down and really listen to what that person is saying, they're feeling what they're feeling has half the time don't have nothing to do with you.
Right.
Majority of the time, it has nothing to do with you.
And we internalize it.
We internalize it for
myself.
I do it too. So you could definitely say because I'm joining you in on this. We internalize that because of what that person means to us.
Yes.
Again, take that ego out. Yeah, you feel like, I feel this way about you. But depending on how that conversation is going, they may not feel that same way about you or whatever they got going on. It got nothing to do with you. It's one or the other. It's one or the other. Damn, has nothing to do with you.
That's one thing.
Or the feelings aren't reciprocal.
Yeah. That ego is something hard.
It is.
It's something hard.
It absolutely is. That's why I meditate.
My
why I journal. This is why I work out, because at the beginning of the day, I am still a human that is filled with a lot of emotions and compassion, and I feel a lot of what people be going through. So I'd be like, you know what? I got to take my ego out. Like, that don't got nothing to do with me. Mind your business. That don't got nothing to do. Not my monkeys, not my circus. I use that to get through life. That don't got nothing to do with me. Let me mind my business. I am the queen of minding my business. I didn't do that. I'm minding my business. Longer. I didn't do that. I'm minding my business. That ain't got nothing to do with me. I'm minding my business. I don't want to hear about this because now I'm going to be involved and it's going to become my business. I'm going to mind my business. Nope. I don't want to hear about her. Nope. No, and no.
No is the big word. You have to know how to say no. You have to. No. It's like a big deal. I don't think people understand the power of no. Like, one thing I said, and the story to come, but I am single now. And one of the things that I find attractive in women, as I'm in this messy ass dating world right now, because it's very different out here. However,
it's not different. There's just more awareness of how disgusting it is because of social media, but it's always been bad. Think about it. Think about the songs from the olden days. They were all brokenhearted. It was like, I'm taking the dog. Your mama stuff. Like, this stuff has been happening since back in the day. It's just social media put it more into the light.
But I do think there are also things that have changed. Like, the population has increased. Your ability to be
Everybody was home fun.
Your ability to find more humans that you are attracted to is just higher. So I think and I think people are genuinely tired and want something healthy. So they're also like not sure how to advocate for themselves on their behalf on that.
Because they haven't been to therapy to find the language.
That too. But a lot of queer women don't have therapists that they can go to, especially queer women of color.
Right.
Like, and the pool that I date, which is lesbians of color, like, that's a very small, like, it's a much smaller pool. And so, like, being able to be like, I can reflect, I can do this, I can do it. Because I think a lot of us, especially still my age bracket, I'm 35, right? We didn't do the stuff. We're like, do this because I said so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so,
absolutely, that was definitely a topic on Pandagasms too. Are we living the life that we were taught, or we're living the life that we want to live?
we're
A
trying
lot
to
of
break
us,
through it.
right? A lot of us are unlearning a lot of behaviors that we were taught
Right.
were the right thing. It may have been right for them in that moment, in that generation, but now who we are today as individuals, a lot of the stuff that we were taught from the elders don't apply to today. Or they never did apply. They just didn't have the awareness to say, hey, this is not right.
And it's what they knew at that time. And you can't knock them for that either.
Better. So
right.
Again,
and so about when I'm thinking, one of the things that I find the most attractive is not looks. It's the ability to say yes and mean it, and no and mean it. Like, let me understand that when you set a boundary, one, I'm gonna respect it 1,000. Like I do, even if I'm like, damn, I feel needy, I want to boo up tonight. No, you good. Yes, I'm gonna respect, and that's where I check myself. But if you could say yes and mean that shit and not resent it 2 years, 5 years, 6 years down the line, I love that shit. If you could say no,
a genuine heart,
and put yourself first, that's sexy.
Yeah,
because I don't think many people can do that. The
integrity, the honesty, I love all that.
And it's like, and I'm still feeling you, but we got to be able to, like, I got to be able to put myself first right now.
You have people that have boundaries and stand on them. I love that. Healthy boundaries.
And it's not always easy, because sometimes you know how it is. Like when you're dating, there's that like limbo of like, damn, but if she doesn't like, and this is old school. I don't think this is what I don't believe in this now, but I think in the past, like, if she's not messaging me all the time, then that means she don't care.
You're an anxious attachment style.
Was. Now it's not.
But there's nothing wrong with that, though. You know what I mean?
It can be, though, because I've been with women. I was dating women, and they used to light me up because I was like in the gym, and I put my phone down for some like couple hours.
Okay.
And that was like,
it can be.
I don't do that.
It can be. However, with honest conversations, because you don't, again, so piggybacking off of that, I feel like people who have those type of things, whatever happened to them in the past, maybe they were cheated on, some type of trauma took place for them to respond that way, and they're not confident enough or have enough trust in that relationship that if the person hasn't responded to them in their head a timely fashion, something wrong is going on. So they also may be anxious attachment styles, you know what I mean? And if they don't know that they're being anxious or it's overwhelming to be like that, then nobody's probably never corrected it for them to know how to do better with it. Or somebody always justified it and just matched that energy. So they're like, well, this is different. How do I respond to something being different? I've never experienced this before.
That's fair.
There's probably someone that always matched that energy, like, because maybe the person they were seeing didn't have a job or any responsibility, so they were able to do all that. You know what I mean? Like, if you're at work, you have to have understanding your partner can't respond. They're working. Or they're human. They might be tired from working asleep.
Right.
Like, why aren't these things
I do think, though, like, so my remedy, most times, right, if I'm talking to someone or I'm connected to them, I'll be like, hey, I'm about to cook. I'm going to blast my music. I'm going to be offline for a little bit. It's my me time. Yeah. Or, hey, I'm about to go to the gym. Like, and that's me. But
so you're an over communicator.
I've learned to be. I haven't perfected it yet, but I do claim it now.
I am. That's what I'm asking. Yeah. I do that, like, not because of anything. That's just how I am.
I think I would appreciate it in return too, not because I think and this might get dark in that sense, but like, I grew up with a lot of people passing away in my family. So for me, I'm just always like, damn, are they good? Did they get home okay? Like, that's in the back of my mind more than cheating.
Mine too. Mine is a safety thing.
Yeah, I'm just like, oh, dude, like, you good though? Like,
right. But it comes off. You are right.
It comes off intense.
Because again, it's understanding. People don't understand. This is how I love. I need to know you're okay.
Yes.
Are you safe?
And that's still me to this day.
Yes. That's like, I don't care what you're doing. Do whatever. But are you safe right now? I haven't heard from you. Usually, we'll talk or something. So it's like, are you okay?
Right.
You said you was going to go to the store. Are you all right? Did you make it
there
safely?
You leave my house, you text me.
Are you there safely? Yeah, like, when I was on my way, I was like, I'm on my way to you now.
And that's what I'm like.
I was at my boyfriend's house and I texted him, hey, I'm here. I read. And it's not just, it's a safety concern. It's snowing outside. Before I came here, you said it's snowing. Have a snow brush.
Right.
It's just easy. It's a reassurance. It eases
that
anxiety.
Speaks literally what you just said. That speaks to how I communicate. Because I'm like, I need to know.
You're safe. Okay. Right. Go do whatever you're going to go do.
Yeah.
You're okay. Bye. That's how I am.
Right, and
Are you okay?
That's the big
That's
thing.
what I
I
wanted
think,
to know.
but I do think that when people find it overwhelming, I get defensive. I get defensive still because I'm like, what, bro? This is out of love,
Right?
and
that's when I realized they're not my people.
that's
Depending on how long I've
that's
known
fair.
you and how much interactions
That's
we've
not fair.
had. If you don't know by now that me checking in on you is how I'm showing my love for you,
Right.
you're not my people.
Mm.
So again, it's subjective. It depends how long I've known this person, how many conversations that we've had.
And if it's consistent, if they want to adjust.
Yeah. Like by this, depending on, again, how much interaction you and that person. I've known you for 15 years. I know that this is out of love. You're not being bossy. You're not trying to be controlling. You genuinely care to know I'm all right.
Yes.
So if
you also know that
exactly
my
so at
history
this point
in terms
of our
that
friendship, stuff. If I was to take that away, I wouldn't. If I were you, I would cut me off.
Yeah.
Because I'd be like, yo, I'm trying to make sure this girl is okay. Like, she's taking this the whole wrong way. What's wrong with her? I wouldn't talk to me if I was you, and I responded that way. So again, depending on who the person is, how long you guys known each other, all those things matter. And that's when the self-reflection comes in. Like, why are they always responding to me like this? Don't they get, I care. Yeah. They're not in the receiving space. And that's cool. I'm gonna love you from over here. I'm gonna stop checking in on you. I'm gonna, remember, remove your love. There's nothing, they don't think whatever. That was a good bring back. Just to circle it back. Yeah. Remove your love. They're not in a space to receive you. Cool. I'm so self-aware and I love me so much. I'm not going to let you drain me. Right. That's draining to always explain you. Right. I hate that. After a while, I hate having to explain me. Like, no, that was not my intent. I've known you too long for you to not know what my true intention was. For me to have to sit here and continuously explain the same intent over and over. Like, I've been so consistent with my behavior. Why don't you know where this is coming from? You've known me this long. I've been doing the same thing, the same way, all this time. This is who I am. If you've noticed, and I'm an observer, I watch how people interact with their families. I watch how they interact with their friends. I watch how they interact with themselves. Right. And if this is how this person behaves across the board, this is them. Like, they're not being malicious. Their intent is not a malicious intent. Right. Again, I live a very intentional life. So if I'm observing you and I'm watching you because I have self-awareness, I don't think most people observe. They don't. I don't. That autopilot is real. And they don't have perspective, because perspective is not only what's in front of you, it's everything around. It's just not here. Perspective is hindsight. What's happening here? What's happening there? It's so much. And a lot of times people have, what is this mindset called right here? Tunnel vision. Tunnel vision. That they can't think about the other stuff that's happening around. And I think tunnel vision was glorified for so long. It's horrible. It doesn't make sense. A lot of toxic behavior has been glorified. I think that's the way it's like, oh, I'm going to be the CEO of this. That's my tunnel vision. But you didn't look at everyone you stepped down here. To get there. And I try to avoid that. Me too. I am a feeler. I move, the way I move through life is like, if it doesn't feel good, it's not for me. And that goes for a job, that goes for money, that goes for interaction, collaborations. I don't collaborate with anyone. Like, I keep it very minimal. You're listening to your intuition, self-awareness. Once again, tapping in. We don't do that. Like, not everybody comes to my house. No. Like, and if someone comes to my house, I'm like, ooh, we're going to cleanse after. I'm saging. Like, we're going to cleanse before and after, like, because I don't know what type of energy. Right. And it's who you've been around, which is just, and that's cool too. Like, we have to protect ourselves. We do. In every which way possible. Right. And spiritually and physically. You have to protect the inside and you got to protect the outside. Yep. Because your soul, it takes a lot to replace your soul when it's been hurt. Ooh. Compared to a physical. You could put a Band-Aid on, you could get some alcohol, you could get some peroxide. 3 to 5 days, that's fixed. But when inside gets broken, it takes a lot to repair your soul compared to the flesh. That was good. Damn, it takes a lot. Real. Let me tell you something. That's why I'm very cautious of who I let in, because when I take accountability for my behavior and I don't listen to my intuition, now it's my fault for what has happened. Yeah. Because deep down, the voice did tell me not to. And I was probably dismissive of that voice and still went and did it anyway, knowing it didn't feel right. And then I had to deal with the consequences. So I hurt my own self. because she told me not to, and I still went.
Right.
So now whatever happens, that's my fault. I got to take that on the chin. And you got to be able to have fun in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a very in the moment person, and people that think about life too much, they're boring, because life is meant to be enjoyed. Like, what are you thinking about it for? All of this is fake.
Go experience it.
Go experience it.
Go make connections.
Stop listening to what people say about this place or that place. Go try it for yourself and see how it felt for you.
Yep.
You know, I'm one of those people. I'm very delusional. So
it's okay.
It is okay because like you said, I live life like a kid.
Mm-hmm.
You know, sometimes
that's 1,000%.
Sometimes I have to talk myself off the kid ledge and be like, okay, Amanda, focus.
Yeah.
You going into the situation with rainbows and unicorns in your head. Meanwhile, there's gators over there ready to snipe you up. They already got in their head some type of a theory or strategic method on you.
How they gonna eat you up?
How they gonna eat you up alive, literally.
Mm-hmm.
So granted, yes, I have this beautiful mindset where I just want to go and enjoy life. Not everybody else has that.
Boundaries.
You know better, you do better.
I don't think we are the type of people just date trash people in general.
We don't. You gotta have a good heart.
Right.
To be around me. I watch how you treat other people. Mm-hmm. If you're mean and you're nasty and your mindset is always negative, I don't rock with you.
Right.
Because again, the tongue is powerful. It could bless, it could curse. And the last thing I want to be around is a person that is, that's always bad talking somebody else. Because when I'm not around, that's going to probably be me you bad talking. You know?
That's real, man.
So I try to stay away from stuff like that. And depending on where people are in their life, they can be very negative towards you. You know, at the time I dated someone when both my parents was alive, and they were like, "Oh, you're in a good place because you have both your parents." Bro, my father was a Rolling Stone. How about you ask questions before you talk about, "Oh, you're this way in life because X, Y, Z." How about you ask?
Yeah.
So once people start making assumptions about what they think my life is, I no longer want to deal with you.
Yeah.
I don't want to deal with you because who else knows what type of intrusive thought you're having about me that you haven't let come out? Don't want nothing to do with you. Nothing. Because
it doesn't allow a space for tangle.
No, like, they don't. Now I'm feeling anxious and I don't want to do nothing because you might be looking at me laughing. I'm just here like, hey, let's have fun.
It's like,
you know, no. So
Lordy.
And this is how I feel with anyone. If I have the Scooby-Doo look after engagement, you don't feel it. I don't want it. It doesn't feel good. I think that's how life should be. I don't believe in having to try. Like, if I tell you I don't like this, just don't do it no more.
Right.
It's so simple.
Yeah.
Hey, I don't like that. Okay. No.
And it's just that once you bring it up, you're gonna become aware of it.
Yes, it is. And even though, you know,
not gonna happen overnight, but it will
exactly. And I was just about to say that. Like, even though it may not be someone that he is, he'll catch himself. But even me too. There's things that he has said to me like, hey, I don't like when you X, Y, Z. But because I naturally just automatically did it because I'm 41. I'm already in my habits, you know. I'll catch myself like, oh, Dad, he said, you know, I remember. But I do that with everybody in my life. If I care about you, I'm going to remember the things you do and don't like. Yeah, that might sound like a lot for people, but that's what you do for people you care about.
Fun fact, it takes 66 days to build a habit.
I thought it was 2 weeks.
Well, according to Google.
Okay, I'll take the 66 days. We made it. We made it to about a year.
I think it could be situational if it's something like, you know, you can like on the spectrum of things. But yeah, no, I remember talking about that because the first 3-ish months for school, we going ham on routine and structure. That
makes sense.
That 3 months is so critical, and technically it's longer than 66 days but whatnot. But like the idea of building that system and keeping that going, like so kids know, like, oh, I'm gonna be told to spit out my gun.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be told when we're learning
by a certain time of the year. They should know.
Yeah, they should know that. And so like being able to do that, I think that's applicable to life too.
It is.
You got to put in the work, and it's not overnight.
It is, and then the thing is, it doesn't feel like work if it's something you want. If it's something you want and it's something you're enjoying, it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like a learning experience to me.
Yeah,
it's like I'm just learning.
I kind of agree with that. I kind of agree with that because sometimes what we're learning brings things up, and that can be painful. And it will take a moment to understand this is for the sake of learning.
Yeah, it's for learning and growing.
But it can be depending on what it is. Obviously,
again, you can be learning bad things, but how is that evolving you? If you're not growing, you're dead.
Yeah.
So if the things that you're learning isn't growing you or evolving you upwards into something or someone better, it's killing you. Because all you're gonna do is regress. Okay, great.
That's
Teach
fair.
me all the bad things. But how is that making me better? It's not. It's making me more of an asshole.
Yeah, yeah.
You catch more bees with honey. Like, teach me the honeyfied things.
Mm.
Because I like you. I want you here. So sweeten it up. Make it make sense. And that should be across the board. I like you, so of course I'm going to do the things you like so that the relationship can stay sweet.
And that's even thinking as a manager, as a
Yes,
boss,
as
like
anything.
like anyone, any relationship, friendship, romantic,
bosses,
children.
If you have a good staff, pay them more money.
Yep.
They don't want a pizza party. They want more money.
Yep.
Find ways to bring more money into the company. I run my business. I'm looking for grants all the time.
Mhm.
I want my staff to stay. She's a great employee.
Yep.
The last thing I want for her to lose is leave.
Yep.
So I find ways to keep the business running, to keep the money income coming in so I can pay her.
Yeah.
Pay her what she's worth. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
And then for bosses that can't make that happen, sit down and have that conversation with your staff. Like, hey, I value you guys as staff and I don't want to lose you. What are the other ways or other things the company can implement to make you happier to stay? You have to have vulnerability and transparency to be a boss.
It takes a lot of work.
Or anything.
But
I
will say,
relationships, right?
Yes, and I think that we're moving out of the space of like, I have money, so I can own this thing. Like, people aren't staying for those folks anymore.
No, they're not, because
you got the money. Sometimes money don't even keep people there.
It don't.
And that's the part where it's like, it's more of the culture you cultivated. It's like how you show up for your people. Do you let your people be off when they're sick? Hello? If they need a mental health day? Are you telling them it's cool, we got it, we'll take care of it? Obviously, like, make sure that there's, it's always situational, right?
Everything is situational. And case by case, but majority of the time.
But in general,
yes,
you should be able to cultivate a space that lets you know, like, we respect you here. We know you're human. We know you have kids, or we know you have a family, or life happens.
We know.
Right.
How can we support you?
Right.
Not, you're replaceable. Like, what?
Yeah. And that is.
I done drove an hour to be here, and you talking about you already put my position in the paper?
Right.
Good luck.
And and those are the places where it's like, actually, I'm okay to leave this.
Me too.
I'm okay to leave this.
I'll leave.
Yeah,
I will leave. I'll figure it out. I will figure it out. Leaving.
Shedding.
I'm a leaver. So that's one of my toxic traits. I'm a leaver. I've left. I will leave. That is definitely one of my toxic traits.
I agree with that.
You saw how I left the why.
I agree with that, and I'm still. I think in general, I'm still processing that part of me.
I'm a leaver.
And I think it's also because I do put in energy, and when it's not reciprocated for X amount of time, then I can't. But I do think that's something I'm reflecting on still, so I don't have a fully fleshed out like idea. Other than like, I do it, and I respect people do it because you guys do what's good
you have
for
to
you.
Protect your peace. Self-preservation is real. Absolutely. If something's not working out for you in a better version, leave. Life should not be hard.
That brings me up to what you were talking about offline.
What?
With the new moon.
Oh, the new moon. Oh, yeah. So this is the Chinese New Year.
Okay.
Because I'm very into like astrology and things like that. So this is the Chinese New Year.
Read me.
This Chinese New Year is the year of the snake, and snakes evolve by shedding their skin.
Okay.
So when they shed their skin, they're now a new version of. They have a new skin. They're shinier. They're glossier. They're brand new. They're stepping out, right? So when you shed all that dead skin, all that everything, even when you cut off the dead ends of your hair, don't you look healthier? You feel healthier? People get facials. They remove the dead skin. Exfoliating gloves. You're removing all the deadness. Remove the dead things in your life too.
Yeah.
Remove.
So she's been doing a lot of amazing things. If you do not know, I will put all of her stuff in the description. Check her out.
Thank you. So, hi everyone. My name is Amanda. I do have a podcast called Pandagasms, and I am a yoga instructor as well. So, Yoga with Panda is pretty lit. I add a lot of fun and spice to everything I do because it's just who I am. The podcast Pandagasms, Elsa has definitely been on our show before we started to do the recording. Thinking we were just doing audio.
5 years ago?
We started during COVID, and so it's been 5 years year. This August, September will be our 5th year. I'm very proud of Pandagasms. I'm very, very proud of it. I am. So it's me, Big Cap, and Nettie Boo. Me and Big Cap started in her room on the bed during COVID. Because my best friend, he's a guy. He has his own podcast, Old Man Wade. And he was like, you have a lot to say about a lot. Why don't you do a podcast? And I was like, because I'm shy.
Right. I feel that.
I love to talk. However, I do have a little bit of social anxiety.
Mhm.
So it's just like I freeze. But then
Yep.
I've been doing this for so long now that I'm always like, let's go, turn it on, let's do this.
Right.
But yeah, we started off in Big Cap's bedroom with a laptop and microphones. And we just started recording. We hit play and that was it. And here we are 5 years later. We've done
5 years later
3 live shows. We're working on our 4th live show. That is going to be May 31st. Hope to see
Ooh.
you. It's going to be at Spark FM. It's a radio station that is in Boston.
I saw that.
So we collab with them and it's been great thus far. Shout out to Spark FM. If you don't know, sparkfmonline.com. It's all day. Urban radio station.
Yep.
It is the first radio station in Boston made by a Black woman, so you not support.
Yeah.
She's
And do they have an app as well?
Yes, there is an app.
Okay.
Spark FM Online.
Spark FM Online. Okay.
So yes, back to Pandagasms. And that's basically it. So between doing that and being an educator, being a mom, trying to do my fitness thing, I'm here. This is me. This is Panda. Panda.